Okay, I think I figured it out. Wow, that was embarrassing. So this stream won't be probably. Can y'all hear me? I can see the chat over there. I wasn't sure if I'd be able to or not. So I've got like a second computer over here. So let me refresh this browser real quick. Yes. Okay. Thank you. Good. The first thing I kind of wanted to get into was to let you know, because some things have changed with this case. And of course, many of you have seen the petition, and people are asking questions like they think it's just some petition, and people don't even care about signing petitions. They know people don't pay attention to petitions. So they don't realize that it's actually part of the case. So I want to make that really clear and why. And things have changed about the case even since the last video that I made. And also, I haven't really had a chance to answer people's questions and things like that. So I thought this would be kind of cool. And so I'd first just try to talk about this stuff. And, bear with me that it's not easy to make talking about code and law exciting, because it's like you think about things all the time that are funny about these people, and you think about things all the time that are insightful about these people that you could talk about, all kinds of anecdotal things about your own life and things you've observed that's similar here. So, there's a million streams and videos you could make doing that. But when you're doing a case, I just tend to, I'm thinking about like, I want to get certain points across, so I know that it's not entertaining necessarily, but it is interesting, and it is something that everybody deserves to know, because I kind of represent all of us, and then there's also another dynamic there that's changed too that's going to help us. So the more and more research that I've done, I've really come up with just about everything in the kitchen sink that you can do to win. So I'm going to try to do that. So let me just explain what I wanted to relay. And I don't know how people that live stream all the time, like Jake, can, read the chat, answer people, micromanage weirdos, and then also listen to somebody that they're talking to, show a video. Like, it's amazing. So for me, it's just going to be, I kind of want to do this one thing right now, and then I'll pay attention to the chat after and try to answer your questions and stuff. So we'll just kind of do that. And I'll try not to make it too long, because I don't have anything like fun or cool planned to show you or funny in the way of videos or whatever. So it'll just be kind of like my first attempt at even trying to figure out how to do this. So it won't be like as bad as a Catherine stream maybe, but or as crazy, but it'll be not the best stream you've ever seen, I'm sure. So on the case, I have like 2 notebooks full of stuff, but I just kind of wanted to have a couple things to look at to remind myself of things, because we're also going to do an injunction. So let me just explain everything. First of all, just for people that are newer and came from that Turkey Tom video and don't know about what I'm doing, this is a petition for a writ of mandamus action. So I'm petitioning the court. So that's actually a legal type of thing, is to petition them to create a writ to make the company do something. Now, this case could actually set precedent. It's why they're worried about it. They don't want to have other cases like this, to deal with in the future where they have to do certain things. And I'll explain why they balk at doing things too, because I think that's important for people to understand, because everybody's just guffawing. They're saying things like, how, why, and why wouldn't they want to mitigate their liability now, before these people do something else? Wouldn't it be safer and make more sense to do something now? But it's not in their minds, and I'll kind of try to make that make sense. So first of all, usually when you do a writ of mandamus action, that's a very old thing, and it started because people couldn't get the governmental entities to do something they were supposed to do, or law enforcement. And so they came up with that as a way for people in the public, because, if you're involved in a litigation, it's usually about you personally. So this is a situation where it might not be about you personally, it's about everybody. So it's a way for like a third party who wasn't maybe directly harmed to say, I was owed, everybody is owed this duty of care from this government entity or law enforcement agency. And they go to the court to make them do it. So, and you have to prove that they have a duty to do it. You can extend this to corporations, but it's very difficult. And in this situation, there's several things to note, and you'll be really kind of disgusted when you realize the protections they have, even when people do die. So that's the thing. So what I'm trying to do is use Title 18 of the U.S. Code, which that has to do with the ECPA law, which is the Electronic Communications and Privacy Act. Okay, so it has within the framework of that law that if you know someone is in imminent danger of being murdered or seriously harmed, and it's like an emergency situation where you know that you're going to contribute to that death and you see something and you need to say something, the company can do it. Now, the reason that they do have these laws in place, part of it's good. You know, we all have a right to due process. We don't want somebody deciding something about us and then running to the government or the police or the FBI or the CIA talking about us and giving them all of my identifying info every 5 minutes. If they were doing that willy-nilly, it would be ridiculous. And as Americans, we believe in individual rights. But the flip side of that is that you see that somebody says they're fixing to murder someone and they're going to use money they, raised on your platform. And one of those somebody's, they're going to murder more than one somebody and one's a baby. You would think, okay, this fits that criteria. You should act. But the law says that they don't have to. It just, in those instances, gives them the right to do it voluntarily. So that's something that I kind of was learning from researching this case, because I thought, oh, okay, now they have to disclose it. They have to. So I thought that was it. I'm done. This is the code I'm going to use. That's not the case. They win cases all the time, even when ISIS kills someone, because they can say, well, we're not required to do it. It's just unreal that there's an out like that for them. And it's because they're a corporation, and corporations get the benefit of being treated like humans when it's advantageous to them, or being treated like, they're really just sharks in the water. Basically, they can do almost whatever they want. It's hard to get them. So here's what we're going to do to deal with that. You have to prove up that they are acting as a government entity. And so with that, we can't really do it, because they'll use the hook of, well, we don't have to. So we're not somebody responsible to act like a government entity. But to make it where they have to, I can prove up stuff about the public using the public function test and the public, what was that called? Public something doctrine. I can't remember now. I actually do forget things. But anyways, yeah, the public function test is something that's really used to see if they're abiding by like First Amendment rights and things like that. It's a legal doctrine to show whether they can be considered a state actor. And if they can, then you can hold them accountable to a mandamus action. So in this case, what would fit that criteria? There's several things that could, and we have all of them. So one would be, are they a danger to the public? Well, yes, they are. So, and I say they because Gatis is, but Marina's presence, since she's wanted and she's with him and she's willing to do his bidding, is enough to tie her in to being, they're one and the same entity, really. They're both dangerous. And so tying that together, there's that aspect. And when somebody is, you have to prove that they must act as an integral part of government for this function. So, yeah, in order to protect the public, it would be integral that they turn over their information. So we're getting it out of the realm of voluntary and into integral for the safety of the public. Since this person went on a school stabbing spree, says they want to kill more people in the future, said that if Diane and him ever get into it, it'll never end until she's done with, and she only has one child. And then we have his super fans threatening people. You tie all that together, and you realize that you've got a person who thinks they can do whatever they want, whenever they want, to whoever they want, and they need to be stopped from doing that. So then we've also got the scams. So this is also a matter of, and this is even better, actually, I thought that was actually like something that wouldn't really tie in here too well, because it's not about the criminality that's imminent danger criminality, but it's really important because of this public function aspect, proving up that they owe us a duty of care as the public. So FTC law, YouTube has been into it with them for all kinds of things over and over again. And that means when you run a scam, the Federal Trade Commission will find out about it and they will fine you and you'll be in trouble for it. So he's done that. And I made them aware that he's doing it right now and they don't care. So, and the same thing will apply with Telegram, and I'll explain that in a minute. But with the FTC law being violated, we're also talking about someone raising money for scams for crime, which adds another dynamic altogether. But the scams will help prove that they have a public function to turn that into the regulatory entities. If you can prove that they're acting in a regulatory capacity, that's also a way where they are, it's mandatory that they do become, in that instance, a state actor, and they can be subject to a mandamus action. So you see how we're going to talk about how they should voluntarily do it, but that wouldn't be enough to command that they do it. But you add all these other things in, and it does. Which brings me to Prussian. and how right now I'm a third party witness to crime. So I'm not a direct party. That flips when Prussian threatens people who support Luna with harm. And that post that he made, even though he thought it was cleverly worded, it wasn't. He shows that he's going to stalk and find people who support Diane, and he would like to see us in the garbage bin. We're making a grave mistake, and we don't know what we're doing, and our whole family should be going after, basically. So they can make of that what they will. I think that fits the bill for me being a first party now. So, and that's also another public threat aspect. So when you tie it all together and you get thing after thing after thing, and see, I didn't have all that initially. And using what she said she was going to do, the demurrer, where they would basically try to get my case dismissed on saying I don't have a right to relief as a third party in this situation. So that really made me research that aspect very much because, you know, I knew that a demurrer was not as bad as a motion for summary judgment or a motion to dismiss. If they thought I had no case at all, they would just have done a motion to dismiss. That's what she would be doing. So I knew that there was something to it, but that I might not have enough. And they with the demurrer, even what I already had, we would probably still go ahead and be approved for litigation because I had enough for that. And they knew I did. But I want to win the whole case if we have to litigate. And I want to show them on the night that I could so that they'll think about settling. And let me explain why they won't settle. They won't settle because, and Diane made this abundantly clear to me, and that's what she's done over and over. You know, people don't give her credit for her intelligence. I'll think I kind of know everything and I know what I'm going to do, and I'll run something by her and tell her about it. And then she'll tell me something that totally gets me to understand something that I wasn't even thinking about and didn't know. So I don't know how many times he was reported back when he was Feria and what went on there, but that is what they're worried about. They're very worried about their liability there. So this case is making them probably do a deep dive into that whole situation. And they're trying to worry about and wonder about that if they admit to anything right here, right now, if that could tie into them having liability later. And you think, well, why would they bother doing that? They do or they don't. And so why not just stop him now? Well, that's you thinking like a human being, and they're thinking like a big predatory company. So, and their only thing that they're thinking about is how do we mitigate our financial liability? And it's the same thing as like with the Toyota gas pedals that were sticking. You know, I remember seeing that a long time ago. And they would just, when somebody died and sued them, they'd pay. And somebody else died and sued them and they paid. And you think, well, why didn't they just stop making those cars and they wouldn't have all those payouts to have to deal with? That's because it was actually cheaper for them than recalling all of those cars and remaking them and admitting what they'd done was wrong, to just wait until someone died and deal with it then. And that is literally how companies think. Companies are not human beings. So they're just going to fight me on this. And I don't want people to be disappointed. That's why I wanted them to understand everything. You know, and I admit, you know, I get my hopes up. I know how good what we have here is. And I also just, in a way, them acting the way that they have has helped me to be less upset because upsetting me initially, okay, I have to deal with it. And now I know I'm going to have to battle you. Because at first I was real pent up about wanting to make sure I made them aware of everything and all this hopefulness about, you know, maybe they'll act honorably, but you feel nervous because you don't think they will. And then you find out that they won't. So then you're really disgusted and sad. And then you think, okay, well, I kind of knew that already, didn't I? You know, so you regroup and then you realize what you're dealing with. We still have a great case. I think this case could even set precedent if we won, and that would be good. It would protect a lot of people in the future. I really think that law needs to be changed about voluntarily disclosing things. I think when it can be proven that there's absolutely an imminent threat of danger for death or serious harm, that should be a given that it's not voluntary. You have to turn it in. So yeah, that would be one thing that would be great also. So that brings me into the amicus briefs and the injunction. After I talk about all that, I'll stop talking. So, so the injunction is something that, like I just mentioned, they're not acting honorably when we meet. I even could cite that that they violated our agreement, which would mean I could ask for immediate relief, meaning immediately take him offline, off the platform, because of something she said to me. Within the course of our second conversation, she said, I said, can you tell me whether they are actually even looking into deplatforming him? And she said she couldn't tell me whether they were or weren't. Well, part of our stipulated agreement is that they are looking into that. So that was a strange thing to say. And yet she wants all my information to take back to her client, supposedly for this investigation. So if they wouldn't be actually investigating that, they violated the agreement. But regardless of that, I got to double check on if I can do that or not. The injunction I know I can do, and it will be based on their behavior. So they'll see that too. With this amended writ, I'm going to add an injunction saying, based on the behavior of this company, before I filed the suit, the behavior of this company, and after I filed the suit, the behavior of this company, I believe that they won't act honorably, and I want you to and this is a matter of serious, like time is of the essence with people being in danger. So go ahead and do it now. The injunction is asking them to go ahead and take the action now before we litigate. And the judge might agree. The judge might not. So lots of things can happen. They can get their demurrer and it could be granted. I would appeal it. It's very easy to beat a demurrer, and I think I could do that. And so then we'd get into litigating and it would go from there. I reached out to Justice Defense Fund and I got a response from one of their workers who was interested in the case. They're very, very busy. So I thought it would go quick, like we'd have a meeting or something, because she said that we could do Zoom or some other kind of meeting. And I haven't heard back yet for when we're going to do that. And it is such a weird case. So she's sorting through what I sent her. So what that would be is related to the child sex abuse material. And I didn't go into all that, but I'm going to tie that into the public safety aspect. And they're, as a government entity to protect children, we've got Antonina, their daughter, his incest content. She's an endangered child, all of this. So basically, if they write me an amicus brief, what that means is they're not a party to the case, but that they're a friend to the court. Amicus curiae means friend to the court. And they're experts in dealing with how sex abuse of children and how stuff online pertaining to promoting that, what the requirements are for a social media company. That Justice Defense Fund specifically deals with that. And it was uncanny that I was like listening to a podcast and someone came on talking about a different website and that whole issue. And I thought, I wonder if they could help me in any way. And so if they wrote a brief like that, it's a supporting document to the case. And it would have weight with the court big time. And they would be afraid of that. They wouldn't like that. Also, the EFF, Electronic Frontier Foundation, they would deal with the scams. They could write a brief on that. I don't have to have those by the 9th. It would be great if I did. That's why I was kind of disappointed that they're taking a while to get done and meet with me and see what we can do. But it's okay, because I can cite in the writ that I'm getting them. And that will put some fear and thought into Google LLC and YouTube. I also happened to get an email from Google LLC when they should be communicating with me through their attorney. That literally might be enough to say they violated our agreement. Also, it's also so dumb because they sent me something very generic saying that they didn't have to do this or that. We're litigating. We're about to litigate right now, so I don't see the point of that email. But anyway, so yeah, we've got that's all about the case. And let's see, the injunction. Amicus curiae, the petition. Let me make that clear real quick. So the petition is a supporting document, and that's going to help illustrate that public function test thing, the duty to the public, that we have all of these people who are witnessing this citing that they are entitled to that relief. So, because he is a danger to the public, and that we all have an interest in this. We all use this platform. You're violating our rights also, as one guy brought up being a shareholder on the petition. That was so awesome. And that he's been watching this unfold for a while now. So it shows that this has been going on for a while now. And they've had more people than me make complaints, and then my cybercrime complaint form was very, I made it clear that now that I've told you this, you are aware, and that awareness gives you liability. And so there may be other people that wrote things like that to them, but I know people reported, and I know human beings at some point read those reports. It's not going to help them at all to pretend they don't know about all of this stuff that's happened and is happening right now. So whatever their liability is for things they did in the past, I never even brought that up, but it won't change based on them not acting honorably here. So that's where that stands, and that's kind of what I'm doing there. So I'll go ahead and start trying to read and respond to you guys. I think I'll shut this one because I can see it over here. So I'll just answer some of your questions here if you want to ask some. Sorry, I can't read and think at the same time. He's always going to go after women. Abundance. Yes, that's absolutely true. Yeah, Prussian got Sarah Norman to stop commenting with his threats. Absolutely. And that should be illustrated. That blog got taken off after I reported it to Google. And even though they said they couldn't do anything, I think they saw what he was doing and took it down. And then, and other people reported it too, by the way. It might not just be me. But then he just put one back up, of course. Even crazier. Loki Summer. Goatis isn't a coward at all. I heard Eddie Hall accepted the fight offer. He's training Primal Bell. Yeah, sounds about right. 71 signatures today. It's pretty good now. Oh, the petition. Yeah, it's over the hundreds. And thank you very much, Jake and Diane, obviously, for that. The Turkey Tom video, while my comment was pinned, I think, by the way, what happened there, I'll tell people, somebody was saying that Luna deserved like better help than parody accounts. So I went off on him a little bit and told him, first of all, nobody was talking about this but Jake for years. Somebody like me wouldn't have even known about it, because I found his content in 2019 when I left a high pressure control group and got people out of my life that were about like that. And I was actually, that's what's ironic. And I really, this is kind of something just kind of touchy feely to say, but for me, like that period of time, and Diane hasn't been afforded this period of time to recover from what she's been put through. It's no different than being in a cult or a bad group or anything you're trying to get away from. You need time to go through the stages of getting over that and getting back to being yourself again. So she hasn't been able to do that. So what I was doing when I was doing that was just all kinds of things that were just for me, like, because when you're in high pressure control groups, you don't think about yourself anymore. And so I thought, I need this time to just do things that would not be stressful, not be about politics, not be about anything triggering like that, and that are just for me. And one was like researching diet. And I thought I would go vegan. Great plan, right? So I was looking up vegan content. And then I started thinking that it looked like it would really suck. And I actually did end up going vegan for a year. And then I had a steak fajita meltdown and just went and ate one. And so that's how that ended. But anyway, but before that, I was researching it. And then I thought, there's just so much fake food you have to add to really make meals, because after a while, there's only so many things you could even do with food before you'd be like, okay, the fake chicken, the fake almond-based cheese. It just seemed weird and wrong. And I wondered if anybody else thought so. So I was typing that in. And I found the Monami Frost review video. But in that video, he said that stuff about the elites drinking blood, and he didn't say it like he thought it was bad. He said it like he thought it was really cool. So I was like, there's something wrong here, And I thought, how did I go into trying to like relax and do like permaculture and cooking and looking up stuff and find this same damn kind of people? Are they everywhere? So, but I just kept watching along, and it was really disturbing to see him with Diane back then, because I recognized some of his behavior and hers. She was kind of trying to gray rock him when he would try to affect her. And I thought, I wish somebody could tell her that's not going to work. She's going to end up having to get away from that. And she did. And I remember thinking, the best of luck to her. I do hope he forgets about her and she can be all right. And then he went on the warpath against her like they do, and to the extreme end where he had no intentions of forgetting about her and letting her live her life. So no idea that anything like this would happen. And I would keep up with it by watching Jake's videos. It just seemed like one weird thing after another. Who is this Catherine girl? And what's wrong with her, because she knows everything we do. And then Jasmine, that was the weirdest thing ever. So it was like a sideshow that was, you felt bad for people because it's real people, but then it was funny and it was weird. And Diane was out of the picture by then, so I just hope she was all right, recovering like you do when you've been away from bad people. But no, she was being pursued, and all these terrible things happened. And so I told that person, long segue to get to that, I told that person, I wouldn't have known about any of this if not. Those were the only videos I was watching about the guy. He appeared once when Vegan Gens talked about the acid attack. And then Vegan Gens recently had done that really good video also. But people weren't talking about this the way that Jake was. And that's a parody account. So he made it funny, but he also brought Luna up and made it look ridiculous, like it is, for him to be demoning about this woman who is nowhere near him, and he won't leave her alone. So I always admired that and respected that. And, then besides him, now you have all these spinoffs, and then you have Diane finally feeling like she has a voice and has camaraderie with other people who care. So she comes back and fills in all these gaps for us and needs our help. And I know how to do stuff. That to me, that's, if there is a God, that's how God works. He wanted me to see that. And he wanted me to see that food video so that later, when there was something important going on, I'd be able to help. and it's weird, but I just feel that way anyway. Maybe I could be wrong, but anyway, let me get back to trying to read stuff. So stuff about Ralphie. Let's see. I would be more afraid of someone in a wheelchair than I would be of Eddie Hall. LOL. Yeah, okay. Let's see. Got to bring the funny songs back. Kathy was complicit. Yes, she was. Yeah, and she certainly seemed to want to tell us, didn't she? I can't hardly believe all that has happened, Jake says. I never knew he would take it as far and he would be doing this. Me neither. You would think at some point, you do have to know people like that do have a problem forgetting about other people. Most of us, we can really hate someone's guts, but after stuff is over, it's over. And, it fades. And if you ever really, normal people who ever really loved someone or cared about them, they may really hurt you, and you might really hate them, but you actually don't want them to die. You don't want, anything terrible to happen to them. You just gradually get over it. But somebody like that was abusing the person while they were right there. So it's a very different dynamic, but his is the far end of the dynamic, isn't it? The other documentary was better. Abundance. Yeah, the thing is like, I don't like to criticize anybody doing good too much. But I agree that there's some gaps in this one. Especially, I saw the comments people don't understand about Kathy. And I didn't either. Even when Kathy was doing bad things in my face, I felt kind of bad for her because she has those big puppy eyes. And I was thinking, am I being mean to some girl that doesn't get it, But then her behavior was just so deplorable. I realized, that's not the case. Any publicity was good publicity. Yeah, I agree. And then people might do a deep dive. They might think, what's this weirdness? And it's really hard to, whenever I write an email to someone like the Justice Defense Fund, I'm like, okay, and then Jasmine, leave her out. This is too much, like you really, you want them to know some of these things, but then you think, I'm going to confuse the hell out of this person, By the way, I never finished that story because I got sidetracked about the pinned comment. Yeah, I brought up Jake's channel and what all he had done, and that's a parody channel, and that mine doing legal work only came to be because of years of infrequently him when he made these videos and I watched them. And then when Diane came forward, I was saying things in the comments and people weren't paying attention to me and they didn't think I was right, and I knew I was. And I thought, I need to get involved because there is stuff you can do. So, if you think she needs better help, go get it. Go get it for her. There's nothing wrong with using comedy to make points. And then I said, and look at the team Gatis has. I guess they're better than us. He has Jasmine, the not a physicist, Kathy, the mental patient in the van, and Prussian, the, what did I call him? The unaliving threat disco queen. But I used the D word, death. So I think that the death and then the word threat together might have triggered some community guideline thing, because it was right after I posted that everybody said, I can't see your thing anymore. So it did good while it was there. I can't worry about stuff like that too much. So it really helped. They'll pump the petition up a little bit and my subscriber count. So Jake and Diane promoting it took it further. So that's good. Kathy is pure scum. Yeah. The fact we didn't give her any attention this last time she showed up really took the steam out of her. Absolutely. She realizes nobody cares what she has to say outside of Gatis' sucks. True. Absolutely. It was good to kick her butt a little bit there, though, when she was first criminally harassing Diane, because that made me so angry. But I wanted her to know that that's what that is. In her country, it's a pretty serious crime. You can go to jail for years in Canada and she's tying each instance together. So coming back like that so soon from the other ones is so stupid of her. Jazz is at least smart enough to cognize that this is the time to shut your mouth. Don't get online reviewing Goatis videos anymore and making little comments about Diane while she's in hiding from an acid attack. Just shut up, And so Kathy's not that wise. There's something super wrong with her. And she is living proof that women can be as bad as men, obviously. At least Turkey Tom made a video and it's getting tons of views. That's the silver lining in all this. Absolutely. Mark Merrick, true. Okay. I'll wait till someone else says something. I'm having trouble getting this to scroll backwards, so I'm sorry if I missed things. If you asked something and I didn't see it and you want to put it now, I'll watch. But yeah, there's things I think about all the time with this, and I'm sure all of you do too. There's things I left out of that jazz video, by the way. Thank you to everybody that's ever sent me anything to put into a video, and into criminal reports. The stuff I have about Kathy is unreal. Oh, his telegram dropped significantly. Emily, what's your background? How do you know legal stuff? Okay, I'll answer those. Yeah, his telegram also is another part of this case, and that's going to be the next case. And that got finally filed December 17th. I didn't want to freak people out, but it got mailed to the wrong place because the guy that I used for mail, he told me the address I had on it was wrong, so he changed it, and he was wrong. So I was having to hunt that down, but it got filed finally. They make it hard to e-file in the court I'm using there, but I finally got it to let me do it. You have to go through this rigmarole. So I could have just e-filed it, but it's been filed already, December 17th. So I have 90 days to serve the other party with sheriff service. And in that meantime, I'm going to actually amend that writ to add a lot more stuff like what I'm finding out here. They're going to be hard to beat, but not if we beat them, because then we can use this for that. So, but yeah, the more people know, just activism where you raise awareness is very good, and making it entertaining is smart, because people don't want to watch a boring video. They want to laugh, and they will see somebody weird and they'll go see, who else thinks this person is weird and what about them do I not know that would be interesting. And if you're going to put it into the context of a 3-minute funny song jammed with info, people like that and we'll watch that. So it's a very smart form of activism, and it's why his telegram has dropped significantly. So that's what like parody can do. But the flip side of that is that he's still on there raising money, and he shouldn't be. First of all, he already violated the law on that platform by is right now, by having the child sex abuse stuff. And he shut his other telegram down. I don't think they took it down. I'm not sure. But, just the fact that he had another one where he was being a criminal is enough for those Section 230 protections to go away and them to be in trouble for that. And yeah, but how do I know stuff about law? Well, the first thing I went to school for was teaching. And so I did like ABA therapy and music therapy with autistic kids. And I enjoyed that a lot, but I was sick a lot, and the public school system, anybody that's gone to a public school or worked in one kind of knows there's a lot I don't like about ABA and about schools in general. So for me, I decided to go back to school for law stuff because I always liked it, and for lots of reasons. One reason, my mom, when my dad died, this giant company tried to steal her pension, and I actually was going through all the paperwork and showing her where they were lying to her, and I actually battled them and we got it. And I wasn't anything legal at the time either anyway, but I did manage to do that. And it was fun. I'm good at that kind of stuff. I'm got a very OCD brain. You almost have to do legal work. It's why it's really irritating to people that don't like to look at stuff like that or think like that. So and so I went back to school in Austin for paralegal studies, and got my degree in that and started working. And I've worked in just about every kind of law. Family law. The first job I had was at a construction law firm, which was as exciting as it sounds, but I learned a lot. And I also learned how bad most lawyers are, which you wouldn't think somebody would say, but it's true. They're terrible. Some are really, the way I view lawyers is they're either wonderful, salt of the earth, doing it for exactly the right reasons. People are the worst people on earth. Really. And I've seen some bad things. So always watch, you're putting money into your little account that they're going to use supposedly to file papers and do research and do whatever. By the way, most of the time when you're having a case worked on, it's the paralegal doing all of that. The lawyer comes in and checks your work. Now, a good lawyer hires good paralegals, and that's not a bad thing that they're doing the work. But yeah, most good paralegals know everything a lawyer does. So I can't hardly believe all that's happened. Oh, I saw that earlier. Let's see. Another documentary was better. Oh, here we go. 32 people like the video and sign the petition if you haven't. Yeah, I agree. Let me get some more moderators going. Because later on I'll let people in. I just didn't want to deal with that today because I know that I already, with not knowing what I'm doing, being nervous, and then people coming in, perverted people coming in to say weird stuff, didn't seem like something I wanted to do today. So yeah. But yeah, he's been harassing. I'll say this too, because someone told me something. He's been like gaslighting, gang stalking, and harassing certain people who have spilled the beans on him on Telegram. So just a message, and some of them have reached out to me. So just a message to those people also, because I'll help you with anything you need to know about dealing with that. But it would be great if you would send me screenshots of things for the Telegram case, because that will go a long way in illustrating some stuff. Because I'm not on Telegram, but to do a mandamus action, I don't have to be. But I did get a Telegram. I did download the app to, maybe have a look-see, but it's behind a paywall, and that adds some complication in proving up, like, well, how do you know what's on there if it's behind a paywall? And then I can't take stolen content, and use it in a court case. Here's the stolen content I want you to see. So what I am ending up doing is there is a certain way you word things when that's the case. That, look, some people have taken that content, either they paid for it and then they saw that he was a pervert and they left, or they have found a way to steal it and they've leaked it, and that's how I've seen it. And it's okay to say that. And then I can show them that stuff because I have seen some of the leaked content. But also just a word of, caution to people who have content or want to do activism. If you post links to the place where you can steal his content, they can take your channel down. And they'll take your channel down right away, not the guy that's already been banned and already tried to murder people 3 times and is wanted. It's really hard to get him off. But the guy that, steals some of his horrible videos, you better watch out. Can we expect a public arrest warrant against Feria after this trial? Okay, let me go up above that real quick. Your hair is awesome. Oh, thank you. Do you know when the trial against Ilias will take place in the higher court? Now, you mean the appeal? Because he's already had his trial. And then we were only given a skeleton transcript. And let me tell y'all something about why they're not naming them, because it's really irritating. In the Netherlands, they have this weird branch of law that's all about protecting people's privacy rights and right to privacy. And also, like, public figures have special rights, like you're messing up their livelihood. And so this is like an extra body of law to go above and beyond to protect people that aren't even citizens of that country. So they go way too far with that. Like, I'm fine with people we want to be hospitable to guests in our country, right? And we don't want people to feel unwelcome that are not doing anything wrong. But when you have people coming into your country to destroy and harm your citizens, you're just letting them know that you don't have a problem with that when you make an entire body of law to bend over backwards to allow that. So, the situation with that is that they will call anything defamation in that country almost as just telling the truth about someone, even if it's a wanted fugitive. Naming them could be like, with that little branch of law, a defamatory thing that might harm their livelihood. And they take this extra precaution until that person's convicted to not name them or do anything to their livelihood. So that's why they're not naming them. It's ridiculous. That's way too far in the other direction. So, but Ilias was already tried and found guilty and sentenced to 12 years. And they're going to do time served on the years that he's already been there while Diane had to sit around waiting on something to be done about all this. He's still lying. He actually tried to have a mediation with her, which I didn't even think that was a thing for murder attempts. That's crazy. I've done mediation. Mediation is what you do when a husband and wife who divorce can't decide who gets the cat. Mediation is what you do when your health insurance benefits should be extended for 6 more months after you quit your job. Not for someone that tried to blow your baby up. The Netherlands is insane. My grandma was Dutch, half Dutch, and she was the most egalitarian person on earth. Like, whenever she would babysit me, I'd be really happy because it meant I was going to do whatever I want. And I think there's a problem that way. Those people are way too genteel or whatever. So yeah, he appealed. So that's not happened yet. That's not finished. But what's good about appeals processes in the Netherlands is that Diane can present more her evidence and he could get more time. And so I do hope if she gets new counsel, because her current counsel, I'm not too impressed, that she could do that. And go after Angelina as well. Public arrest warrant against Feria. Well, we have a arrest warrant against Feria. When they went to get Angelina, they cited that. And there's a file code on the top left-hand corner from the Netherlands under Gründe, which is reasoning for why they wanted the German police to go get them. And they cite all the reasons. And it's showing that Marina Abdullah and her husband Ilias and her daughter Angelina are wanted for the acid attack and beating, their role. And we have her on an app, they said in the trial, telling Ilias what to do the next day. So she's involved. They all had their own account on that app, all talking about this crime, according to the public prosecutor. And then it said also on the warrant, Gatis Lagston's wanted for separate prosecution for the organization of the attack. So we've already got him on a warrant. So yeah. Let's see. The Telegram free Goatis paid videos parody got shut down. It disappeared a few months ago. Yeah, I think they did a new one though. So just be careful if you put that on your YouTube, because that's how I think they got some people that were making really good videos. They protect criminals for sure. Yes, they do. Is it possible for Angelina to be held accountable once she's an adult, or does her age at the time of the attack protect her from bigger consequences? There are some ways to go back into that issue and appeal that decision, because she was found guilty, but then she was found not to be. It's like a catch-22. Yes, she did the acts, but she's not culpable because she's cray-cray and her daddy made her do it, basically. And she probably is crazy. They evaluated her. Now, here's what gets me. They didn't diagnose her with anything. See, why didn't Diane's attorney? That's what I would have done. I would have said, well, let's push back and say, what's her diagnosis? Because then that determines where she goes. They didn't do that. So they just were saying she was had no maternal bond with her mom at all. And she was a person that was very messed up. And if somebody in authority had her to do something, she would just do it. And that she actually is so bad off, she needs inpatient hospitalization. But guess what? When the trial of Ilias happened, she traveled from Germany back to the Netherlands to sit there. Diane couldn't be there. Diane couldn't be there and talk. They had Diane on the phone. And by the way, she has a right in the Netherlands to confront her attacker and be there and say things and know everything that's going on. Her phone connection kept going in and out. But the girl who handed him the bottle of acid, and actually also at one point she pinned Diane where she could have gotten away, and then Ilias pinned her again. Both of them pinned her at one time. She's there and Diane's not. Does that make sense? But yeah, absolutely. I hope they do that. That is a sick person. When you're 15, you're basically grown, in my opinion. I mean, you are a kid, but 15-year-olds kill people, 15-year-olds rape people, 15-year-olds do all kinds of things. So, let's see. Angelina just tuned in. What have I missed? Any news? No, just that I just kind of described some of the changes to, we're doing the amendment to the writ. So all the different, I try to explain all the legal ins and outs of why and what to make it where we can hold them accountable that way. And then I decided to just start taking people's questions. So we're just talking about stuff. Oh, something funny I left out of the jazz video, because there were 5 hours of jazz, which, oh my God, thank that person for the timestamps, because but I did have to like go back and forth. But there was at one point where she said that she was obsessed with the movie It. I didn't put this in the video because I would have had to go back and look for it, because it wasn't timestamped. It just happened to be where I was looking for things and heard that part. She said she was obsessed with the movie It, and that she likes clowns in general. And, you know, that Mad TV thing she did on TikTok, she was the clown, you know. And that Gatis looked like It to her, and she was attracted to Pennywise and to Gatis. I kid you not. That was funny. That would make a damn funny video. So someday I might dive into that 5-hour video and look for that. Let's see. Luna could sue Angelina and Ilias at a civil court as well. Yes, absolutely. And there's a fund. So his appeal is holding up her money. And Angelina, I didn't go into that because I had another video about that. But for anyone that doesn't know the rest about Angelina, when they didn't hold her accountable, they said she was guilty but not accountable. So here's the thing. In the Netherlands, if you impose a mental health treatment on her in your country, or even in the other one, Luna gets her money that she was awarded. But if you don't impose any treatment or any sentencing on someone, Luna doesn't get the money. Does that make any sense? I had to read that like 3 or 4 times. So Luna's attorney did push back a little on that. And she said, hey, you know, you have imposed treatment on people before that weren't from the Netherlands, because they were saying it would be unfair to her. Once again, the Netherlands bending over backwards for people who come into their country just to murder babies. You know, you can't do that to her. She can't speak Dutch, and it would be awful for her to be stuck in the Netherlands. And then we don't know what they do in Germany. We can't really tell them where to put her or what to do. Just recommending inpatient hospitalization. So if they'd simply recommended a specific place or type of treatment, Luna would have gotten the money. But they very definitively did not do that. So you can see why at this point she has felt like, what are you going to do? They're always working against me. So she was awarded, I don't remember how much, but not able to get it. And then with this, she's awarded 60,000, but he's still appealing, so she's not able to get it. But when that's over, even if he doesn't have any money, there's a fund in the Netherlands that I made her aware of, that her attorney should be aware of, where that can come from. So that's good if she ever can get access to it. And then, I think she could also sue on top of that for sure. She should be suing the police. Absolutely. And I'm not joking at all. Let's see, because I told her to go back home. Pineapple tea. What are you LOLing about? Just your name is problematic. We'll see where you go with that. Is Florian being investigated too? Haven't heard much about him. Not that I know of. All of these people that did this stupid stuff really should shut up. It doesn't matter though. There's enough on Jazz and Catherine. They might be able to be gone after for aiding and abetting. I don't care about them right now if they just shut up and go away so we can deal with the main problems. And then if Diane ever cares about them, I think, be worth it to do that. I was laughing about the Pennywise stuff. Oh, okay, pineapple tea. Maybe I'm being mean to you for no reason. Your name being about tea. I love tea, by the way. I have tea right here. But all those weirdos that support Gatis, they all have names about tea. So I just assumed that you were ready to go into some weird stuff. How fast was the getaway vehicle? Not fast enough, apparently. And also the idiots couldn't set a fire, which is great. It's good when criminals are retarded. It helps us all. People like Gatis don't usually get really smart people to stick around and help them, I mean, if you were around him for a while with his dead goldfish eyes and his let's get Luna, who's going to be around that very long that's sane and that's smart? I can't really think of anyone. The profile pic of this tea appears to be creepy as well. This person might be him. It probably is. Yeah, I'll give them a chance to do something wrong, but yeah. They subscribe just to do that, so thanks. Thanks for the numbers. I think Kathy will always be a dangerous liability. She should be ignored until she's locked up. Well, I turned, actually, before I knew what she really did, here's the thing about Gatis. You bring up something that makes me think of something. One thing that they should do to get more time, because the Netherlands sucks, they think that you should throw gasoline on a baby and get a few years. And then we want to make sure you're real comfortable too, and that we don't, hurt your feelings. And you don't want to be somewhere where you can't speak the language after you do that. That kind of a situation means that we need other countries and other places where he's done things to add the time. Now in the Netherlands, he could get life when you add all this up. He should get time for evading arrest. He should get time for if he did sodomize Annette, and drain her funds. I think there's a 20-year statute of limitations, and he's still within that time frame on some of those crimes. And then so there's German time he can do. I heard he had some passport scams he ran. I don't know about that, but and then he could go to jail for extortion of Catherine. There's no statute of limitations in Canada on extortion, and I already wrote to the Minister of Justice on that. They don't care, I guess, but it could happen. It could be made to happen. Same way we're doing this, if anybody wanted to. But yeah, you could stack the time, and he could be extradited from one place to another and kept in jail for a long time. He should be in a site. And this isn't vindictive, by the way. It's just a matter of safety. I don't believe in vindictive imprisoning, vindictive imprisoning of people, really. It's really more about you can't be around us. We aren't okay if you are, and we have rights. We protect individuals from the group, basically, or groups from the individual, either way, because everybody has rights. So he can't be around us. He's not safe. He should be in like a psychiatric facility for the rest of his life. Some people, and I don't think people that are in prison should have to be around him. That's another thing wrong with prison. People going to prison for selling pot, and then they end up around people like that. So that's why I don't like, prison rape jokes and stuff, because there's lots of people in there that are not like him and that are not as bad as him, and that some of them didn't do what they're there for. That's even scarier. So that's why I don't really like the death penalty. But if we, could really make sure everybody that got the death penalty was somebody that really would never be all right if they were out, people like Gatis, yeah. I mean, and it's not his fault. He just is what he is, but that is what he is, and he's not going to change. You should try and reach out to Meat of the Matter Prem. He used to hang out with Gatis. I saw him talking to Luna on her page. I just feel like people might want to go on with their lives and stuff. But yeah, if he ever wanted to say anything, I think that's great. Pre-COVID years, yeah, I remember seeing those things. Yeah, I felt bad for him too, because those videos were interesting. See, whenever I would watch those videos, I knew what I thought about him. I met enough people that reminded me of him. As soon as I saw him and he was talking, I knew what I was looking at, which is an awareness you have after you've been put through being around people like that. But that being said, some of the content I would have agreed with and was interesting. That's my bird clock, so it's going to do that. But yeah, Prem was interesting, and I felt bad for him because he looked so emaciated, and he was a nice, smart guy. And it doesn't surprise me now knowing that Gatis, being the jealous psycho that he is, was probably jealous of him. And also they were decent people. They didn't want to help somebody that's beating the hell out of their girlfriend and lying to their audience. And so people like that don't stay friends, obviously. I wonder if Gatis's mother is aware of all this. If you join Luna's Patreon, she has a lot to say about that. I think his mom and sister are not like terrible maniac type people, but the mom is very enabling. The dad was about like Gatis, apparently, just a very sick individual with like, allegedly alcoholism and suicided himself. And they weren't very liked in the town. And I'm sure both the genetics and the effect of all that, wasn't so great for someone. But the sister is normal, apparently, or semi-normal, but none of them have done the good normal thing, which would be to like reach out to Luna. So on Luna's Patreon, since that's helpful to her, I don't want to say what's on there. There's some stories about what mom did there. And Lundy Forest Patreon, go check that out. Even as an unpaid member, you can read some stuff. And then if you want to join and help, every dime goes to help the two of them. So that's a great way to spend your money. Oh, I want to also, that reminds me, say thank you to the people who promoted the petition with money. I didn't expect that at all. There's promotions you can pay for. And now I think 10 people have done that. So thank you so much. That's great. I'm shocked when people put money in and stuff. Goatis has cognitive dissonance, still uploading vids like nothing is wrong. Well, he doesn't have cognitive dissonance. He's just a liar. The thing is, you got to realize about people like him is that they don't see life the way that we do. He's an apex predator type, but not good at being one. He needs other people to do his predator thing. He couldn't survive on his own. He doesn't have skills. He's extremely jealous and unhappy all the time, wanting to fob off the idea that he's the happiest man in the world. And it's not working because, duh, you're not. So, and the most successful, he knows he has the keys to life. The key to life is being locked up in a mental hospital and meeting a woman who has the mind of an 8-year-old child and getting her to worship you and literally believe you're Jesus. And then you can butt rape her and steal all of her money. Good life plan. Yeah. Am I his ex-wife? What do you think, Rodrigo Horse Silly? Bye. I'm getting rid of you. How could I get rid of you quicker? Get my clicker to work. Remove. Bye-bye. Actually, maybe you don't know that I'm not. Maybe that was mean. Oh, well. Who saw the video of Goatis getting drenched in paint? I did. That was funny. Insecure men pose the most danger to women. Yeah. Same with women. I'll tell you something I think about the women in a second. Let me see if there's any questions. No questions. Okay. Yeah. The thing is there's a difference between Jazz and Kathy. They're both evil, but I think Jazz is somebody who really did love Goatis in her maniacal way, and she still does. Kathy never did. Kathy was obsessed with Luna, and I finally, it's kind of funny how you have these like moment. Because, I watched her all the time, and I just figured she was sick and crazy, and it was jealous of Luna and wanted to be like Luna, but that she loved Goat Boy, too, on top of it, just like Jazz. But no, really pay attention to what she does. Also, when she comes back to abuse people and what she does when she's before that. So when she got with him, her fixation was on Luna. Her fixation was on being like Luna. Even all the stuff she was writing was about Luna. When you see them together, I don't think they look particularly snoodily. When you're with somebody that you care about, you're going to lean toward them, not away, or just kind of like, and they were like somewhat close at times, but it's not, they really never looked like a couple to me. It all looked very forced and weird. And when a girl really likes someone, you know, the only reason she might act a little bit like that is if she's kind of nervous because she likes him so much. She might be kind of uptight at first, but then once people are together, they're together, and you can tell that they're together. This didn't look like that. And her fixation is on Luna, and there are crimes, lots of them, of girls killing other girls that are some of the most horrible crimes I've ever seen in my entire life. In fact, they're the ones that will keep you up at night, worse than some of these others. When women are sick like that, and I think maybe that's because it's more unusual for them to be that kind of sick, they are like the worst. So the Shonda Scherer case, and caution, it's horrible. This little girl in school, and these gay girls kind of set their sights on her, and in their case, and by the way, everybody gay isn't bad, a killer or anything like that, remotely like that. Obviously, just like there are straight people that are killers, so that doesn't mean all straight people are killers. So that's not what I'm saying. But in this case, one of the girls just liked her, she wasn't part of the murder plot. This other girl, though, that had been the girl that liked her's girlfriend, hated her and got a fix on wanting to unalive her. So they tricked her to go out, and then they did this horrible murder that even involved like burning her alive and laughing while she was trying to breathe. These people are maniacs, but I view Kathy that way. Who would go be with someone, and then, yeah, they might hate their ex. They might even say they wish they were dead, which is bad enough. But then if they were talking continually about making that happen, you would get away from them. You wouldn't, but she went there almost with the purpose, clearly, in hoping she could make that happen. Isn't Diane lucky? She had first one girl that loved Goat Boy, that wanted desperately to make that happen, was talking about it since 2018. And then he gets another one who, I think in her case, she was super fixated on Luna. I think that was her only interest, is in this like weird pathological obsession with Luna that was like, you know, like the way that a Ted Bundy type of person wants to predatorily attack women. And I think Kathy is wired that way, but the way women who are like that are wired that way. Just my theory in watching her verbiage and what she's like and what she says and who she fixates on, because she got after me in a similar way, not like that, but there's a troll account that I think is her because of stuff that it said that is stuff she said before, even the same misspellings of this, like, and there's several that are playing Muslim man. And so, yeah, she was writing stuff like that that was sexualish at me. That's what even gave me that idea. And then I thought about all this other stuff, and I thought that's kind of what her issue was, I think. Just my theory. I could be wrong. And definitely no hate toward anybody else who, whatever your sexuality is. It has nothing to do with people that are sick that have that sexuality. So, yeah. Jazz was Goatis' best match. They were equally yoked. Totally. I'd love to see his Tinder matches, yeah. Why are all of his partners, apart from Luna, so fucking weird? Well, these are the people that were attracted to him after they knew that. You know, what would you be like if you knew that? But Jazz was attracted to him before that for all the reasons. The things I saw about him that I didn't like, those were things she did like. So, but yeah, Luna's situation was this thing that's understandable but bad for you. When you hero worship someone that you think has helped you, then she met him and he mirrored her. He acted very gentle and sweet and kind and enamored of her. And then that's how you get sucked in. And then when people bond, and if somebody is kind of an egalitarian type that wants to help their partner and doesn't want to abandon them and all of that, then and then they use the scare tactic of, if you do, I'm going to kill you. You know, it's much harder to get away. She's still trying to get away. People criticizing her for not getting away, and it's not that easy, is it? But these other people, they just wish they had him back. So that shows the difference in the mentality. Nothing could have been done to avoid this outcome. People like him will look for any reason to harm you. If they don't find it, they'll create one. Absolutely. Does anyone know if he still has subscribers on Telegram and how many? I'm not on there, and so I'm not sure. You can check it over Google search, and then it shows the amount of subs. Thanks. He shaves their heads to humiliate them. When he goes to jail, he'll get his head shaved. The cycle of humiliation. Yeah, I heard it is down to only 60 subs. Wow. My goodness. I hope they're not all 500 a monthers. And that's another thing that's going to go into the Telegram case too. And Telegram plays into this case. They actually cross over, because when you're directing people from one platform to another to commit crimes or to raise funds, then that's a problem. But another thing I didn't mention here, I've mentioned it before, is that, the case law that shows that if you raise money for crime in the past, they don't even have to know what crime you're going to do or that you're going to do one, just that it's likely you would do one. That's all you need as a social media platform to be accused of platform-enabled crime. Your standard there means that you have to shut it down. So I already used that in the writ, and so we'll see if we can get that to work. They won't shave his head. They'll take his wig. His head's already bald. Yes. Pineapple tea is silent. It looks like you clocked it, Jake. Oh, absolutely. That name, they just, Emily, we have a Gatis lover here. LOL. Oh, you do? Well, you can feel free to snipe them. It's fine with me. I'm missing things because when I start talking and looking at the camera, I'm not seeing what you guys are doing. I don't know how anybody does all four things at once, where you're talking to people, showing videos, watching the chat, and all of that. It's difficult. Read the comment first. Oh, okay. That one. Let me see. I love Goatis. He's the best. A truly original thinker. Let me get my thing to go up here. I learned a lot from him and could not find any flaws in his view of the world. Get lost. Let's see. Unhide. Oh, is he hidden? Yeah, get rid of him. No, nobody would say that. If you're that dumb, then I don't want you here. And it's not somebody's fault if they're dumb and they don't mean to be, but yeah, that's nuts. If you can use a fork and write and think at all, and you would say something like that, no. I snipe him, thank you. Unless that is bad sarcasm. It could be. I think it's possible we've killed two nice, well-meaning people. Sorry if so. It's just hard to judge. I mean, that's another thing on the internet. I said something on Kiwi the other day, and I thought about it later, and I thought, is it clear I'm joking? Because or who I'm joking about. You don't get facial movement and people reacting and things like that, so it's hard to tell. Yeah, now we can't chance it. Well, that level of stupidity is lethal, so I think you could be right. They need to say just kidding. Yeah, I some of this stuff, it's even like there reaches a point where you can find humor in things that are horrible, but some of this stuff, and it's sad too, because when I was working on this a couple weeks ago, I was finally just like to where I thought, I can't look at this anymore. It's bothering me, because I'm looking up similar case law, and you're thinking about all these things that have happened to people in the world. And like Pornhub, Layla Mickelwait's thing, where, a 14-year-old raped boy who got drugged and raped, and they uploaded like 20-something videos of him. Why do they have to beg them to take those down? And then why do they take them down and then put them back up? They've had people commit suicide because of their behavior, and do they care? No. So after a while, reading too many things like that bothers you. And I kind of don't like murdertainment for that reason. Like so many people are into like the true crime stuff and all of that. And even though I'm into law and I like doing this kind of stuff, there comes a point where, like, I don't want to watch a movie about anything like that. I don't want to watch a show about anything like that or hear a story like that, because it's not normal. And we're normalizing it by making it entertainment in a way. But since it's happening, we do have to talk about it. And it's not wrong to do that in a comedic context. If you see people this funny, I mean, can I have money to see my son that I tried to kill, and then you go and get a hair tattoo? How can you not make fun of that? Opportunities for that kind of comedy don't present themselves every day. It's annoying. Nobody has time for that. Yeah, no, ain't nobody got time for that. So yeah, I don't really know what else to say. So if people are okay with it being just like a 1-hour stream, if you have any more questions, I can wrap it up after that. Thank you, moderators, for helping look at all that. I'll look it over later. But yeah, I'll keep everybody updated. I'll try to make a video, but I won't know anything until the meeting before the 31st. So search Goatis and then click on anti-Gatis videos, whether it be the Turkey Tom, Crimes Anatomy, or Jake's. Play them on 2 times silent in the background to push the video in front of Gatis, the Gatises. Thanks for the update. You're welcome. So yeah, I'll do something between now and then for content, but closer to the end of the month is when I'll know what they think about what I'm giving. I'm going to try to have, I'll try to have this done by Monday, because it has to be filed by Thursday. And that way, that court is horrible for filing issues. you'll file something and it'll be exactly the way they say you're supposed to do it. The clerk will say that you need something else. Then you have to try to refile it. And if you need to call them, you have one chance because they're only open this little window of time and you'll be on hold for 45 minutes. So it's great when things are perfect the first time, but if they're not, it sucks. So I'm going to try to get it filed Monday so that if I have a few more attempts, I have to make it done. And I have to give it to them too, the other party. So I'll do that too. Everyone hit the thumbs up on this stream. Thank you very much. Yes, please do that. Thanks for the update. Yep, you're welcome. Alrighty. Well, I guess I'll wrap it up. I'm glad I figured out how to even get into my own stream. That was awesome. And so, yeah. Thank everybody so much for everything. Thank you, Jake, for keeping the story alive when Luna didn't even have a voice. Thank you for everything that you've done for my channel. And thank everybody that sent me things, that cares about the case. Nobody even knows who you are. You're just doing it because you care. I appreciate that so much. Thanks, Emily. Keep it up. You're welcome. Thank you, Diane, for filling in the gaps and letting us know how really horrible this person is. And when he was holding that baby on his lap, I hadn't even thought about that. We weren't sure that he even had a kid for real because he's such a liar, and he does. And so, yeah, we needed to know that. Abundance. It's not easy to talk about this guy for so many years. No, really not. Especially when it stops being just funny. Just a narcissist who gets weird girlfriends who are okay with him trying to unalive the other one. You know, then it turns into murdering babies. That's quite a leap into not pleasant. So yeah. Okay. Thank everybody so much. Yeah, he put the child on his lap, Loki. And by the way, another point on that is that child is by way of law an endangered or missing child when you have two fugitive parents. And that's another aspect of this case that I'm going to put in there because that definitely is a public interest in rescuing the child. That's a duty that a government entity would have. So we'll use that too. Yep, he's still with Primal Bell. She's wanted. She's oh, hi, Rose. Now everybody's pouring in and I'm like going away. So I'll talk for a couple more minutes, I guess. Yeah, he's with Primal Bell. She's wanted. She's Marina Abdullah. She is seen to be complicit in the attack on an app writing instructions to the acid attacker. So they want to arrest them if they can find them. Black Pavilion daughter looks pale and doesn't see. Yeah, no, there's several earmarkings of weird behavior. You know, I work with kids. I still have my substitute teaching license. The way that she won't look at him. Have you ever held a 2-year-old for very long? They won't stop touching your face, especially if you're their parent. And her behavior also was really. He was getting really annoyed with normal baby behavior, but she was also not calm. She was really, and she's always got something that she's putting in her mouth. Babies put things in their mouth, but none of her behavior looks normal from the standpoint of you would normally be like looking at your dad, touching his face. She looks uncomfortable. The first video, she looks like she's going to cry several times. And, if this is your best shot you could get when you're at home and you can do the video however you want and you have as much time as you want like they do because they don't work, then, you could get shots where the baby is calm, where you're playing with her. They're not going to get a shot like that. That kid is uncomfortable. And then the other video, he finally had to get rid of her because she was just making too much noise and touching the computer, and he was just becoming enraged. And at one point, she pulled his earphone cords, and you could see him pull it back, like he was trying not to look like he was mad. But he was. That video, in a weird way, was possibly a dig at me because I was a Robert Kennedy supporter, which they know. They watch my channel. Kathy's come over to my private channel and see things that I write and stuff on the community tab. I don't really make content over there. But, and one of their super fans was on my Facebook, so they know about me and what I'm into to a certain degree. And then having her there when I was harping on the kid already in several videos, and I turned that into the German police also. So yeah, the kid and the Robert Kennedy thing was creepy as hell to me because of that. Something seemed off when he showed the child. Yeah, he also seemed annoyed whenever his son cried on stream. Well, of course, a lot of people wonder if that baby is a boy, and that they're changing the gender, of course, to evade people knowing who they are as easily. But guess what? One reason I think that might not be the case is that I don't think he could have a son. He's not secure enough in his manhood to have a son, and he hated that son. He was already jealous of Luna, and the son is much more like her than like him. And so, yeah, the little boy being sweet and cute and people paying attention to him and actually liking him would be enough to hate his guts, let alone that he's crying. How dare he cry as his Goatis is trying to do a video? Shut up, you know? Yet this guy promotes having many children. The multiple cries would drive him crazy then, LOL. Yeah, that was something I wanted to say too, because I think about this all the time. So he's pro trad wife, right? And he has these videos and he pretends that anybody that doesn't like him is anti traditional families, which is the biggest joke in the world because the trad wife type he had was Diane, Luna, the one that had the son for you and the one that was with you and the one that, doesn't have a husband. Yeah, so the girl he's with right now is married. No, not to him. So that's not very trad. She also has a history of allegedly being part of an escort service, of women put on a website to date and go to parties. And, I think she was, and you would feel a little bit sorry for her probably if you knew her background. She probably was abused. She probably was used and trained to be this thug that she is. But yet, this cutesy pie face on what really is just a thug. There are girl thugs, that is a thing. He wants a trad wife, but he wants to be a lazy bum husband. Yeah. Well, yeah, you have to provide for the family if you want your wife to, but also it doesn't, regardless of money, it's really more about like who wants kids and who wants to like have a natural, normal life with their family that they love. That's a trad wife, right? So yeah, that's not she doesn't fit that bill. We know from Angelina, she didn't have any bond with the kid. Well, number one trad wife thing would be bonding with the kid, right? Why have them if you have them and you leave them? She left people, a lot of them don't know she left a 2-year-old to run off with Goat Boy. So like put that in perspective. Goat Boy, your baby, your 2-year-old, 2 years old, with a man who allegedly she said was beating her up with a baseball bat. Or that's what some people have said was said. She showed her arm had whelps all over it. And she said that, I think it was Elias was who she was with that she said did that. And she's not a very big woman. So, and imagine that you've been beaten like that and you want to help go beat somebody else. Lovely people. Push Gatis' video out of the algorithm by searching Goatis and then clicking on Turkey Tom. Crimes Anatomy Doc or Jake's videos. Yep. And this will put their videos in front of his. Oh, okay. Yeah. I didn't know that. That's interesting. You can do this a total of 5 times per video per day. Anybody that wants to do that type of activism, that's great. But yeah, I should prep everybody. One last thing I guess to say is that if you don't have any more questions, I'll let you know. I think it's very likely that they will not settle with me. More likely than not. And I feel a little better just being prepared for that. You have to, it's kind of like when you hold out hope, it felt good, but then it felt kind of bad. It would make you kind of sick. As I got closer to December 18th, I thought they're not going to do the right thing, but maybe they will. And then they didn't. And then at first you have to deal with that initial like blow of you're just scum, aren't you? Isn't that great? Going to drag me in through this for no reason. I've proven it every way you can and you know better, but whatever. But then you deal with, okay, wait, it's not that bad. Let's really get into what we can do, everything that we can do, because we are probably going to have to present this to the court. And so what would happen when we do would be a variety of things can happen. But I think what's really going to happen, I do think they are looking into deplatforming him, obviously. The first thing she said on the phone to me on that last meeting, by the way, was that there's a process to it. I can't guarantee a time. That really sounds like they're looking into the process, doesn't it? But then she says other things to like make sure she obfuscates any definitive answer, So I think he's going to go down one day. They want from me every bit of info that I have. They want to make sure they know everything they need to know about what anybody could do to them. And for legal purposes, so I can't ever file a different type of suit with that information. So there's certain things I don't have to tell them. So I think we would be okay either way on continuing to pursue them if we had to. I would hope that we don't have to. But they're going to take him down one day. Just one day, you're going to wake up and that channel is gone. But they're going to try to do it where it's not really connected to my case or to Diane as best as possible. Because right now, if they do it, it looks like it is, I guess, is what they're thinking. But the ban evasion is ban evasion. So, what is the purpose of this? dragging this out and driving people crazy and wasting money and wasting time. They're paying them to fight me when he's ban evading. How many people have had stuff taken off of YouTube for just such minor things immediately with none of this fanfare? So this is insanity. It really is. I'll watch this from the beginning and the Turkey Tom bit. Oh, awesome, Rose. Yes, do that. Do that. There's some interesting info in the Turkey Tom bit if people don't know about Annette and some of that other stuff. It's got some gaps, but you know, you've seen other things too, so you already have had some of those gaps filled in for you probably. So yeah, I'll just end the stream. Thank you, everybody, and the thank yous that I gave before. Thank you for promoting the petition, just even by promoting it, but also the paid promoters. That's amazing. Thank you. Leaving comments on that is great. It'll illustrate things for the court. You can use fake names. I've put within the body of it that there's reasons why we're doing that, obviously, because you know, people don't feel comfortable using their names with these dangerous fugitives. That's what the whole case is about. And so, yeah, and you can put a fake state. I put the state that the case is in, not the one I live in. But now I'm just using my name because they refuse to take my name off the table. So I might as well, if I'm going to make people aware of where the case is, because I need them to do this petition, then the name is out there. So whatever. My name's already been put on like videos, like old Jake videos that they've probably seen, and now they know that's me. So it's not that big of a deal. I've scrubbed my social media of other kinds of things, though. So thank you, Emily. You're awesome. Well, thank you. So are you. So thank everybody very much. And we'll do this again sometime. And by then, maybe I'll get some software and I can show video or something and do something more fun. But yeah, I think this was good. Okay. Good information anyways. And definitely appreciate all the support. And I think we will do it. And we'll save 2 kids. And Diane can also live a normal life and be the mother she wants to be, the trad mother that she actually is. So thank you guys a lot, and I'll catch you next time. Have a good weekend.